This Toyota Save Mart 350 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and as you can tell by Cody's just nice, relaxed feel, he's not riding solo this week, and I'm pretty sure he's happy about that.
This is great. This chair is much more comfortable than the one I sat in last week. Rod, welcome back. I'm glad to have you back. The audience is even more glad to have you back. Welcome back to the show. We missed you more than you know.
And I appreciate that. However, when you go away for a while and you let somebody, like maybe, I don't know, I've never done an Airbnb before, but I can only assume that this is what it's like. So when you come back and there's a chair that used to always be in one spot and then it's moved a little and you're like, why is that chair? And then when you get back and you're just like, the forks are in the knife tray, the knives in the fork tray. Cody, I'm good. I'm just so good to be back. However, I needed to put the knives back in the fork tray before we got going.
I am so glad that you're back, Rod. It's great.
An admirable job, though, last week, Cody. I know I put you in some pretty rough situations by completely having to bail out. I was in a spot where literally even the phone was having problems working and getting reception, so it was just not. It was not going to work. I was going to try to make it work. I had all my equipment that I was ready to go. But the one thing you need when you're doing a show that requires the internet is the internet. And when you don't have that, like I said, happy to be back.
Yeah, that definitely makes it tough, but we survived. So here we are, ready to head to Sonoma for picks. Not only head there in our picks, Rod, but I believe you're going to be attending the race this weekend.
I will be attending the race this weekend and breaking news, maybe even both. Who knows? Maybe even the Xfinity. And I'm getting breaking news from my other position, and we're gonna go and see what that is next. But listen, I may get to go watch both, which would be fantastic and a lot of fun. So, looking forward to being there. Guys, if you go out to one race in your life as well, as probably whatever the one on your bucket list is, make this one part of your bucket list because it is such a gorgeous setting. It's so much fun, and I can't wait to be out there and meeting some of my favorite drivers and some of my other favorite drivers as well that I'll be shaking hands with and kissing babies with as we get everything set to go. But yeah, Sonoma it is, baby. I love this road course. I love this race, and it's so much fun to be that every year.
Yeah, I love it too. It looks beautiful. Looks very, very beautiful on online or not online. Well, online too, but on the broadcast and everything. Wine country, of course. The chat's blowing up already. Rod King checking in before we get started. Let's go 54. Marcus says hi everyone. He wants to know who everybody's pick is. He predicts Rod Christopher Bell will win at Sonoma. We're actually going to talk about that today. Lynn checking in says Tyrone Gibbs finally gets his. Then, of course, Ash checking in from across the pond. Says, evening, lads. Welcome back, Rod. Great job last week. Cody, that's debatable. But I know SVG raced in Sonoma and Xfinity last year. But is this his first appearance in Cup? at Sonoma. It is. We will talk about that a little bit more. JDK saying, Rod, a couple exclamation points, afternoon, fellas. He's also calling for McJesus for the win. Whether that's McDowell or SVG, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Jess saying good afternoon. Laura says welcome back. And hey, Jess. She says, oh, hi, Cody, too. Hi, Laura. And she says wine country. Laura, I think Laura might be going to the race this weekend as well, Rod. I know she mentioned possibly going there. So maybe the two of you will be able to link up. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that because like I said, if you're out there and if you're going to be at the race, please let us know through Discord, through Twitter or whatever, because I definitely want to meet up and say hello and maybe hand out, I don't know what I have, but I'll figure something out by that point. So I still got a couple of days left, but Sons of Mitch saying Uncle Rod is back. Yes, I am, Sons of Mitch. Thank you very much. Like I said, I missed it. This seat, you forget how much you actually love being in it until you're gone for an entire week. And then it's like watching somebody drive your car around. You know you love that car and you love driving it around, but somebody else is driving it. You're like, they're doing such a great job driving
it. It is weird. Even a couple of weeks ago, like obviously you normally host the show, so you just hosting even when I'm gone is fine. But when I missed the DFS show a couple of weeks ago and I was listening, I was like, it's kind of weird to listen to your own podcast when you're not on it. So, that's how it goes.
Speaking of listening to podcasts, you can listen to every podcast episode on the network for absolutely free just by subscribing to the SGPN feed. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, including this one as well. Sonoma, baby. Sonoma.
Such a smooth ad read, Rod. We really missed those last week.
You know what? It's funny because I was just talking to Cody just before we got on. It's like, you think it's easy, right? Everybody goes, oh yeah, I could totally do that. That's something I can totally do. And until you do it. And then you're like,
well, that and just like trying to balance everything too. That's what we're going to talk about. But like, you got to try and pull up the graphics as you're talking, and you're trying to make sure you have the ad read right in front of you that's correct and everything. So yeah, certainly is crazy. But all right, Rod, should we?
And they don't.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Last thing though, they don't tell you the ticking clock is up there, right? And then when Cody's still going, and you know that you have to hit your brake, and you're like, "Okay, Cody. Okay, Cody."
I can always see Rod's cues. Okay. He starts to. I always pick up on the cues. Rod, I know when I'm starting to talk too much, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to get to the point of wrapping this up. So Rod's not too mad, so he can hit the time cue here. But that's how it goes.
Good stuff. All right, Cody. So now we are at the point in this in-season challenge now where there's only 4 drivers left. After
8 drivers.
A couple of chaos.
8 drivers, 4 matchups, of course. Yes. So yeah, it has been chaos. Ty Dillon lives to see another day. So just like last week, I quickly just covered the 4 matchups. I figured we could do that quick, kind of give thoughts on either one or on any of them, whether they're worth betting on, whether they're not worth betting on. So yeah, we have it narrowed down to 4 matchups here. Alex Bowman against the true underdog, the 32 seed, still alive, looking for his Cinderella slipper, Tyrone Dillon. Bowman's minus 285. You're not going to bet that side. Ty Dillon at plus 2-1 or plus 200, 2-1. Why not? I mean, at this point, why not? You've got him at plus money both weeks. It's panned out for him. He doesn't even have to have good finishes. It just seems like he's got the jinx on the other people. What a great story it would be if he wins this by just finishing like 20th every single week. Can you imagine that, Rod? Just like all of his competitors fall out, and it's like he's got some magical hex on them and wins $1 million by just consistently finishing 20th every week.
I mean, listen, if I could finish 20th every week and win $1 million, that'd be my dream job right there.
Absolutely. But Ty Dillon 2-1, I think I would place a little bit of a bet on that. You got the Legacy Motor Club matchup. John Hunter Nemechek minus 145, Eric Jones plus 105. I have both of these guys, I think near 150-1, Rod, for futures to win this. Sad that one of them will be eliminated after this week, but happy that one of them will continue to live. Nemechek is the one I would want to bet on. That's why he's minus 145. Jones at plus 105. If you want to bet somebody in this matchup, I think it's probably closer to a coin toss. Nemechek, I think, definitely does have the advantage, but you could take Jones at plus 105. I'll probably just avoid this matchup.
Yeah, it's tough because every time you pick one Legacy Motor Club driver, the other one does better. And it seems like every single week you're like, oh, Eric Jones has got this one, and then Eric Jones has the crap week, and Nemechek skates by him, and then you're like, oh, I'm all on Nemechek this week, and then Nemechek is the one that it comes up on the wrong end of it. So, yeah, you're right. I think I stay away from
Reddick is minus 220 over Ryan Priest. Priest is plus 155. I do really like Reddick this week, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. You could definitely make a case. Reddick is sometimes inconsistent. Priest has been better on the road courses. So this is another one where, favorite is favorite for a reason. If you want to bet it, you could definitely make the case. And I guess that's probably pretty much everything in this is you can make the case for the underdog. I do like betting Todd Gilliland despite Alex Bowman and how good he is really on road courses in general, just because I like the story of it. But this Priest one, you can bet it, but probably not one I'm going to touch.
Yeah, these matchups now, when it got, it's pretty much just pick your underdog and go with it if you want it, because the heavy favorites, I know people say that you can still bet on minus 235, and you can, but Sonoma, it can take you out. It's not, there's a lot of chaos waiting in that hairpin turn that can just annihilate.
Yeah, and the last one is Tyrone Gibbs. He's minus 300. That is very hard to bet on. Against Zane Smith at plus 210, but we've seen how good Ty's been this year on road courses. And, maybe this is his week, Rod. We're getting close, but and Dylan says he stands corrected on what he said last week. Ty Gibbs did come through. Looked good once again. We'll be talking about him in the betting section here in a little bit. Still not getting a win. Gibbs might cash plus 300 every week, or plus 300, whatever. I can't read. Cash a plus 300.
Plus 300 top three every once in a while.
Yeah, this was me trying to read the ad reads last week, Rod. But hey, you can make money off the guy without him winning, and that's what matters. So Zane Smith is plus 210 in that matchup. Really, that's probably the least underdog one that I like, and that again makes sense because Gibbs is the biggest favorite of the four. But it's going to be tough for Zane Smith to beat Ty Gibbs unless Gibbs has an issue.
Well, and that's really what it ultimately ends up with. And again, that's just what NASCAR is all about. And nothing says that more than the last couple of weeks as we look through some of the folks that finished top 10, that won, that came close to finishing where we needed them to finish. It's like we only have control over the stats that are in front of us. I don't have control over who pits and when. I don't have control over who loses control 77 car and takes out some of your great bets, right? I'm not in control of that. I can't pick who is going to inhabit that car.
I appreciate the GOAT Carson Hocevar for taking out Will Brown nice and early, cashing an easy bet for me, Rod. That was great. Something else I want to talk about. Cody Ware just wrecked right now. Just note that real quick. Something I want to talk about, Rod, is the Cody Ware wreck, right? So he goes into the barrier. NASCAR retroactively says the hardest crash ever recorded in the next-gen era. He sits on the barrier. He immediately keys up and says, need help. I don't know what that says to you, Rod. But this just massive crash. We know there's zero chance, looking at the car, zero chance that they're going to get him out. So they're coming finally. Oh, remember how long ago I said he crashed? This is how long it took them to throw the yellow flag. 35 seconds it took them to throw the yellow flag. And do you remember last year at the Roval when Parker Kligerman was about to win and cashed fucking massive tickets for us? And they threw the caution flag 3 feet in front of the line, like 20 seconds after the wreck when we why can we not? Is it about safety or is it not about safety, Rod? That's what I want to know. Do we care if they're safe or do we not? Because you say that we care that they're safe and we have to throw the yellow flag at a super speedway earlier this year when Zilich wrecks hard, even though we can get safety vehicles to him quickly. Everybody can be slowed down by the time they get back around there. But we'll let it ride forever at the Roval. We'll let it ride in the hardest hit recorded in the next gen era. The hardest hit recorded in the next gen era. We let 35 seconds run off the clock, but we have to hurry up and get help to these guys.
So caution flags in NASCAR, it's like, what is a catch in NFL? No one knows. And honestly, to me, I've seen them.
No, but that's the thing is we know that was there was no question it was a caution. Why wait until he's past the line? And don't give me the bullshit. Well, the weather was coming. You can't take other factors. Are we throwing caution flags because we care about the safety of these guys? and we need to get to them, or are we not? I don't care if the rain's coming. If the rain comes, fine. It ends under caution. SVG still wins. He should have won. He dominated the race. He was the best driver in there. That's not the part I'm upset about. The part I'm upset about is we say that we have to stop these races for safety, but we waited 35 seconds on the hardest hit ever recorded in this car.
Doesn't make any sense. And even me, I was saying, when I was yelling at my television, I said, why are we not under, why are we, oh, okay, well then the checker flag's about to wave. But see, here's the thing, right? We've seen NASCAR hair trigger that thing when a car steps out and doesn't even really but tag the wall a little bit. And then,
Yes. Yeah. They're so fast. Like it's, good, we get a chance at overtime. Hit the caution. Like they do it so fast. And then sometimes they wait until Kligerman's about to win and then fuck us completely over. It just, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So one other thing I want to talk about Chicago, Catherine Legg with a 19th place finish. First female, I think 2017 was the last time Danica finished inside of the top 20. So first female to finish in the top 20 since then. Obviously, we haven't had many start since then. I think Legg is the only female that started since Danica. But yeah, shout out to her for putting together a solid day. Another great DFS play, Rod. She beat out Corey Heim to make the race, which he had damage. But hey, you got to show up and do it the right thing to get in the race. He did not. And she is back this week, by the way, at Sonoma once again.
Never skip leg day. Just never skip leg day. The leg lift is on its way. I promise you, kids. I'm just kidding. It's not, but.
If only we had top 10.
I would definitely take a leg top 20 this week again. So cousin Danny showing us his legs, which I absolutely love. So cousin Danny banging the drum for Catherine Legg last couple of weeks. So all right. Speaking of which, time to get to some bets for this Toyota Save Mart 350 from the beautiful Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. But before we do, let me tell you about Circa. Think you know ball? Then you have to enter Circa's football contest with 21 million. Yes, that's 21 million. Lots of zeros in that one in guaranteed prizes. No rake. So if entries go above the guarantee, all extra money is going to go to the prize pool. How do you like that? No rake. Take home all the cash. Circa Million. You pick 5 teams against the spread each week or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There's even the Circa Grandissimo. That is a $100,000 Survivor contest. You got to register in person at a Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. I mean, listen, if you want to book a trip to Vegas, this is a perfect excuse to get that done. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGPN to get $50 off of your proxy fees. Let's tell you about my friends at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and, of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. I'm telling you, MyBookie has got all kinds of crazy stuff for you to bet on. I'm looking at their featured right now. They've got MLB odds. They've got Money Bag. They've got Grand Slam men's, NBA odds. They've got FIFA World Cup. What do they got in FIFA World Cup? Well, do you like to bet on groups? Well, if you do, then you can bet on the FIFA World Cup to be Group B at plus 138, if that is what you fancy. Or you could take Real Madrid at plus 179 to win the whole thing. That's FIFA World Cup, folks, if you like soccer, which, again, I don't, but you may. So head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN.
I love that. I don't but you
do. I'm not here to tell you. The only football that I will pay attention to is Wrexham. And that's only because that show is so damn good. And I don't pay attention to them only in so much as I'm actually watching to see if they get promoted. And I'm not done yet, so no spoilers. But yeah, that's all I care about is Wrexham. So I am one of those guys.
There you go. Hey, that's more soccer than I watch.
And I don't watch the games. I just watch the show. By proxy, I guess I watch some of those games. But all right, we are here at the Toyota Save Mart 350 from the beautiful Sonoma Raceway, like I said before in the break, in Sonoma, California, just a few scant hours away from me. We are set for, as I vamp a little bit, Laura saying girl power in the yes, definitely leg bringing the girl power. We are set for 110 laps around this 1.990 mile road course for 218.900 miles. Cody, expert wants to know if Kosovar can be regulated. Yes, he can.
Hey, there are other people that deserve to be regulated before the almost winner of the Coca-Cola 600.
Almost doesn't count when you have to get to the playoffs or automatic promotion. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so who is in this race, Cody?
Yes, Catherine Legg is in this race, Rod. That's it's your 36 regular entries. And then Catherine is back in the 78 car. So she will make the race this week, although not a problem for her last week. She, of course, made the race there. But yeah, that's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry this week. We just have the 37 entries. So everybody makes it, and
easy as that. Absolutely love this. So, all right, Cody. Well, then, are you ready to continue talking as you did last week and start loading up these bets?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm going to head to the matchup market over on ESPN to begin things, Rod. I'm going to take Christopher Bell over William Byron -110 on ESPN. Rod, we were waiting on it. We thought, boy, is it not going to happen this year? What's going on? And it finally showed up. William Byron and the 24 team has hit the summer slump. They go through this every single year. It is Jimmy Johnson syndrome just repeated. If you go back to Jimmy Johnson, great to start the year, racks up the wins, spend the entire summer trying things, working on things. Boom, the playoffs show up. He shows up, wins 7 championships. That's how it went. William Byron, very much the same. You go back and you look, 40th last week at Chicago. He completed 1 lap, Rod. They didn't repair things from the wreck, and that's how it goes, right? He gets wiped out early in Atlanta, 37th place. Pocono, a similar thing where they wreck in practice or qualifying, one of the two, and doesn't start well. They don't get the car completely fixed. He finishes 27th. He did have a 9th place at Mexico, but 28th place at Michigan. So you go back and you look over these last 3 races, bad results, 4 of the last 5 bad results. I think that it's time to start pumping the brakes on William Byron. I think that we could be reaching, and, granted, there's been some extenuating circumstances in some of these, both Pocono and Chicago. Were just problems at fixing the car, but if you can't get the car fixed enough to complete more than a lap, that's also a little bit concerning in and of itself. Atlanta's a super speedway, but I'm going to run with that narrative. And if you go back to the last 2 times, and John says Byron will easily beat Bell. Well, he didn't easily beat Bell the last 2 times we were at Sonoma, which was earlier in the year, early June the last 2 years. So now we're into July when he doesn't do as well. 30th place finish for Byron last year. 14th place finish for Byron in 2023. Christopher Bell, 9th place both times. So, yeah, I'm riding with Bell this week. I'm going to get on this Fade Byron train. We'll see how long we stay on the train. Rod, it's a train that we're standing on the edge, ready to jump off if need be. But until we see that they're not in this summer slump that they're always in, we're going to fade William Byron. So I'm going to take Christopher Bell over him. Then, Rod, if you navigate over to our friends at Bet365, they've got an interesting matchup over there. They have SVG -285 against Kyle Larson at +200. I am going to take Kyle Larson in this head-to-head at 2-1. And I know I've already seen it in the Discord. I can hear you screaming at your radios. You're fucking crazy as you see SVG the last couple of weeks. Like, I get it, okay? I said this on the podcast last week, Rod, and he reiterated it this weekend. SVG is the best road course, street course guy in the series right now, hands down. That's it. End of conversation, right? Now, we saw what he did last week at Chicago, which is a street course. We saw what he did at Mexico, which is a new course, right? A couple of things here. We will go back to COTA, sort of pedestrian. We go back to some of the other years at road courses that we've been on previously. Not as dominant, right? We haven't seen him here in the Cup Series. He was great here in Xfinity last year. If we get a good enough number, like last week, I'm going to bet him. I don't know how much you listened to last week, Rod, but we bet him to win the Xfinity race. We parlayed that with the Cup race. Both of those cash ended up being great. That's likely the plan again this week if the numbers are bettable, right? But things can go wrong. Things can happen. And what kind of things could happen, Rod? Could Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick get new tires near the end of the race, and Cody Ware has the hardest hit ever recorded in the next gen era into the barriers, we get a caution flag that suddenly goes to overtime. Now SVG's at a tire discrepancy, and Denny Hamlin fires it into the corner and wrecks him into the wall, and suddenly he does. There's so many things that can go wrong when you're getting, and Kyle Larson isn't Cody Ware or Catherine Legg. He's the second favorite on the board and the outrights. You're getting him a 2-1 to beat one driver. Well, look at SVG at Chicago Street Course, Rod. Undefeated. He won every. No, he finished dead last one year because circumstances outside of his control. You're getting the second favorite to beat one guy at 2-1. I think that bet is too good to pass up on. I cannot reiterate enough that this is not what should happen. SVG is clearly the best right now, and I'm not saying that he's not going to go out and lead every lap of this, win, lap the entire field 10 times, because he could do all those things, and I wouldn't be surprised by it. But at 2-1 for the second favorite, oh, by the way, Kyle Larson's been pretty good at Sonoma in the past. He is the defending race winner. Of course, SVG not in this race last year. But you go back and you look, Ryan, over at iFantasy, in terms of performance, you would say Kyle Larson should have won 3 of the last 4 races, one last year and in 2021. 2022 is the other recent race he thinks he should have won. He had the best car, but they beat themselves with bad pit strategy, then lost a tire. He started on the pole, led 26 laps, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Things didn't work out. Well, he was the favorite then, Rod, and things didn't work out. He didn't get a good finish. What if that happens to SVG, right? That's the thinking here. 2-1 for the second favorite to be one guy. Also, the best race car driver in the world right now. I will reiterate that as well. Kyle Larson. Things don't always go his way, right? We understand. We know how that goes. But I think that it's too good of a bet to pass up on at the numbers. So give me Kyle Larson over SVG, 2-1. Get out your pitchforks, and I'll see you in the Discord.
And I get it. I get it. Like you said, SVG is by far the guy to beat every single week now. But let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago that Kyle Larson was exactly the same way, especially at racetracks like Sonoma, especially at racetracks like Watkins Glen. We were saying that Kyle Larson was hands down the single best road course racer out there, along with Chase Elliott, who I'll bring up here in a second. But, you know, Dylan says SVG is great, but these tracks like Sonoma, Watkins Glen, et cetera, is just not going to be way better than everybody else. That's because they've been going there for years.
Yes, I think there is something to that. I think the fact that we just saw Chicago, look, he's got that big advantage on a street course, right? We've been there a few years, but so has he. He's got the advantage there. Mexico was brand new. He's got the advantage there. And you know, I downplayed that a little, but I was definitely wrong. He had the advantage because it was a new track. He still has advantages because he is great. He is a great, great, great road course racer. But Kyle Larson's been really good here. And there's just so many things that can go wrong that won't be Shane's fault that could help this bet cash when it's the next best driver. It just, yeah. And Dylan says couldn't agree with me more. Thank you. TK says easy take on Larson on that. So yeah, I think that that's the way to go. So I wanted to shout out Corey as well, checking in, Rod, looking at Allmendinger, Priest, Busher, and Chastain this weekend. We got thoughts on a lot of those guys. So
I do love it. Absolutely love it. I missed you guys. I missed you guys so much. So this is exactly why I don't ever want to go away again. I will, but I don't want to. All right. My first bet. I am going to take another matchup that's probably going to be very unpopular, but you got to hang with me on this one. This is not just straight Gibbs hate because, you know, me, I tend to try to not be that emotional about it, but it is Chase Elliott over Tyrone Gibbs minus 125. And you say to me, Rod, Ty Gibbs just finished runner-up in Chicago. He is going to be the best ever. But can we just street course? And yes, he was probably the second best car on the day. Yes, he actually showed some speed for once. But let's talk about road courses this year, not street courses. Let's talk about road courses this year. How about Coda, where he finished a rousing 34th after starting 13th? That is exactly the kind of performance I love. Mexico City, he finishes 11th. Okay, that's fine. He led 27 laps in that one. And of course, that was a street course as well. So I'm not.
King
absolutely missed me to end. But again, it's not, you guys. The books weren't really giving us a whole lot to work with today. Okay, this was one of the ones that I thought was actually good. Well,
feel
I
plenty
mean,
of
in the
stuff up.
matchup market, like it wasn't necessarily that much in the matchup market. But for Chase Elliott, a 4th place finish at COTA, a 3rd place finish, which by the way, still beat Ty Gibbs in Mexico City. He finished 16th in Chicago. Okay. That's what happens. That's the kind of thing that you kind of brush up, but it was still 16th place finish, not like a 34th at COTA earlier in the year. You want some more proof of this? Well, let's go to the the NASCAR speed cheat sheet. Say that 3 times fast from our friends over at iFantasy Race. There's Kyle Larson at the top of this cheat sheet, and then there's Chase Elliott in 2nd place over there in the total speed rankings, 2nd place in green flag ranking, 5th place in late in a run, and then 1st place overall in 4th segment speed. Got to scroll down a little bit for Ty Gibbs, 7th in total speed rankings, 13th in green flag racing, 37th finish in 2024. Yeah, good. Average finish, how about this? Chase Elliott, 5.7. Let me keep scrolling down for Ty Gibbs. He's not here. Chase Elliott, 5.7 average finish for Ty Gibbs, 27.5. 18th place a couple of years ago, 37th place finish last year. Chase Elliott, 8th, 5th, 4th. I mean, look, King, I'm only reading the numbers, man. Like I'm literally just reading you exactly what this is saying. Now you want even more? Okay, fine. I'll give you even more. How about road course finishes since February of 2022? How about Chase Elliott? Average finish 10.2, 19 races, 10 top 5s, 12 top 10s. How about Ty Gibbs? 17 races, 5 top 5, 7, but an average finish of 15.8. That's 5 spots. That's not like this is 10.8 or 10.2 and 10.5. No, that's 5 full spots on road courses. So I'm just saying, I'm going to take Chase Elliott minus 125 over Ty Gibbs. I know it doesn't necessarily make you feel good, but it's what's going to win at the end of the day.
It doesn't make me feel
that
good.
doesn't make you feel good. And that's fine. King, I'm done. You can wake up now.
This is a really tough. This is one of the tougher matchups on the board, I think, really, when you look at it. I love Ty again this week. I'm about to talk about him here in a second. I could see the case for Elliott too. He's been great specifically at this track, and he's just consistent in a general sense of things. So I could see your side of the argument as well. Probably a matchup I'm going to stay away from.
Fine. You guys can stay away from all those matchups. I don't care. I mean, he's only got 4 top 10s and 19 starts. Why do you guys love him so much? I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's all right. I'm not here to tell you who to root for. I'm just here to tell you what I see.
Well, Rod, I will tell you why I love him so much after the break.
Ooh, look at you. See, now Cody's paying attention. He knows now. He's paying attention to it. So, all right, we will head to the break. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to the first place winner. No waiver wire, no argument about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also has a great place to play Pick'em as well. Hey, I was paying attention over the course of the 4th of July weekend. Underdog giving you some hot dog eating contest picks, and I love that. So make sure you go check them out, man. They've got all kinds of great stuff for you to go and start stacking up those multipliers and start picking and start winning. So go do that. And in the meantime, while you're doing it, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Our friends over at Rhythm. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we're going to be. Get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. I wonder though, in the Ty Gibbs locker room, if like there's a picture of my face on a wanted poster. Probably not. That's okay.
Well, it's you've been known before for professional athletes, Rod, to be their billboard material. So I think billboard, not billboard. Their what's the word I'm thinking of? Corkboard. There you go. That's not so much. Maybe they put you on a billboard. I don't know. They might have put you on a billboard in Billings. They put you on their championship.
They
parade,
sure should. Listen, there's nothing. Hardly anything tops that. Yeah, of course, the birth of my children. Sure, that's up there too. But being put on a championship ring, come on, kids.
Yeah. If you don't know, real quick, Rod was at the time it was the Arena Football League last year. He had the podcast, the official podcast, and he gave out rankings and stuff, and he made comments about Billings and how he didn't think they were going to be that good. They apparently printed that out, put it on their corkboard in the locker room, and wrote it to a championship, and then inscribed something. What I don't remember what it was exactly, but something about your comments on their championship race.
It said, which is not bad for amazing. a tier 3 team.
Yes, which was a Rod Villagomez court bulletin board.
I said bulletin
That's
board.
the Jesus. Oh, no, damn. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's what I was looking for. But okay. All right, Rod. Let me tell you why we love Ty Gibbs. Why he is going to be the greatest driver ever to grace. Well, Carson Osevar might have a stamp on him, but no. Look. He just finished second last week to SVG at Chicago. You said he finished 11th at Mexico, Rod. I get it, but guess what? He was really good in that race. He led a ton of laps, 27 as you referenced, and he was the only person who had a chance to beat SVG. Now, again, like I said last week, would he have beat SVG? Probably not, right? I think that SVG would have gotten him. He doesn't have to beat SVG here to finish in the top 5. Really, he doesn't have to beat Chase Elliott to finish in the top 5, which is perfectly fine. So we're going to take his top 5 at plus 220. But in that Mexico City race, bad strategy. They held him out too long. The caution came out. That's why he finished 11th place. But since then, they have made the change. Well, not a change. Tyler Allen's still the crew chief, but Chris Gabehart's sitting in the box. Chris Gabehart's making the calls. What has that resulted in? A second place finish at Chicago last week. He is a really good road course racer. We've seen it throughout his Xfinity Series career. Things are starting to click. A couple of good runs here lately. The third place at Michigan. He second best car at Mexico City. I think very easily you could say that. 14th at Pocono, 14th at Atlanta, the second at Chicago. They're finishing some stuff out, and he's been looking good. I think at plus 220, we had this bet last week. Cashed for us. Going to ride it back. Give me Tyrone Gibbs, top 5, plus 220.
Sorry. Yeah, look, it's fine. It's fine. As long as Chase Elliott finishes 4th, I don't care if Ty Gibbs has a top 5 finish. Like that to me.
Hey, maybe both of these bets cash.
And they can.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I don't care. Like that's fine. Give him another top 5 so long as Elliott has a top 5 or a top 3 finish, and then we're all happy. And then look at King says that, or was it King? Yeah, King saying all of the Ty Gibbs hate. There's a lot of crow to be eating later, and that's fine. You guys know that I love barbecue crow, so it doesn't bother me at all if I'm wrong, right? You guys think that my
favorite kind of crow.
You guys think that my entire identity is wrapped up in whether or not I make the right calls and make the right choices for you guys. I do. I love it to death, and I'm there. But like, if I'm wrong, okay. Like I'm human, and that's what happens. I'm okay.
Well, and I think eventually that like he's going to be a very good race car driver with a long career, and he's going to win races. It's the fact that he hasn't gotten there yet. I think he's been the longest tenured Gibbs driver, or most career starts in a Gibbs car without winning a race. That part of it's getting concerning, but we know how this, like we've seen this before. Chase Elliott kind of had a little bit of this problem. Got to figure it out. He's a champion. He's won a bunch of races. Casey Kane was the original second. Well, I think Dale Jarrett was back in the day, but Dale Jarrett, Hall of Famer, by the way. Casey Kane was a second place guy. Finally got the win, and then wins came. Like he's going to be fine. He's in that car for a long time, right? As long as he wants to be, likely. And it's going to be great when he gets there. And man, once you pop that cork, the floodgates are gonna open, and he is a great driver, and nobody's questioning.
And I'm not like that. That's what you guys get thinking. Oh, he's saying he's not. He's a good driver. We know this, and I know this. But when you look at the results and when you look at what you've been able to win off of him lately, that's where my advice goes. It's not so much that I hate him as a driver.
Yeah, same for me. I had him top 5 to win last week. It
Exactly.
cashed, and
All
we're
right.
doing it again.
Speaking of guys that I don't hate, AJ Allmendinger, my spirit driver. Let's go back to him on a road course because you'd be absolutely just, I mean, look, I get it. You know, it was a rough go of it in Mexico. It was a rough go of it in Austin. But unlike drivers that I've made cases against earlier, AJ Allmendinger, you can't, because then he comes around and he'll have a good, solid finish like he did in Chicago on the street course. And honestly, he had to fight his way through this, right? This was a lot of skill for AJ because there was times where he fell out of the top 10. There were times where he was on the wrong side of the strategy and he had to make ground, especially at the end there, to get into the top 10 and to stick in there because there was a lot of people that were chasing him down as well. Right. I mean, he was getting passed at the end and I thought, oh my God, too many cars are going to pass him and then he's going to fall out of the top 10. And he didn't. Thankfully, he held on to that 6th place finish. So let's get back another with a top 10 here with AJ Allmendinger at plus 120 over on 365 as well. I don't need to sing the praises of AJ Allmendinger that much because he's definitely a road course guy that we all know. He's 6th place overall in terms of average finishes here, according to our friends over at iFantasy Race. 19th in 2022. That was tough, but he's got 2 6th place finishes in a row at this track. We talked about it. Somebody brought it up earlier too, as far as these old road courses that we've got going on. Watkins Glen. We talk about Sonoma. Like these are OG courses, right? And it really does benefit OG drivers to know how to get around this, even though they kind of updated the track a little bit as far as the way. I think they took out. What did they take out? One of the S's, one of the chicanes back in a couple of years ago. So
yeah, I think they
added
that.
Yeah, I have to go back.
I think we're back to the original or because I think a couple of years ago was the 50th anniversary of the track. And I think they reinstated the course.
Yeah, no, seriously. And then, but that means that, again, all these guys that have run this course for years, they're so much more comfortable. They know every dip. They know every turn. They know everything that can sneak up and get them. And AJ Allmendinger, definitely one of those guys. Again, him as a plus 10 at plus money, just makes sense every single time because it's just one of those guys where he's going to go out and he's going to do well and that he is going to turn into a top 10. I'm not even asking him for a top 5. I'm not even asking him for a top 3. All I want is just to at least double my money on or get close to doubling my money on a top 10 finish for a guy that should be running in the top 10 all day long.
Yeah, I can't argue with an AJ Allmendinger top 10 on a road course. I mean, that's really all there is to it. It's AJ Allmendinger. It's a road course.
Yeah. No, and again, if this was like minus 300 or something like SVG's is, that's ridiculous because then you're putting up a lot of money and then he could get on the wrong side of strategy. He could get mixed up into something. He could lose a wheel. Then you're losing a lot of money. If AJ Allmendinger has that happen to you, at least you're not out that much money because you don't have to bet that much to make that much. So again, I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of top 10s that I like, Rod. I'm going to go to mi amigo, Daniel Suarez, top 10 plus 250. Suarez, a decent road course racer. It's kind of up and down. This season's been a little bit of a struggle, but a couple of things. Well, first of all, Sonoma, definitely his favorite of the road courses, no doubt about that. And he's racing for a job right now, Rod. He is unemployed come 2026. No ride for him, and he wants to stick in the Cup Series. He doesn't want to go race in front of 12 fans in the Truck Series. Of course, nobody would want to do that. So coming to a track that he's got circled. I mean, we're running out of places that he has circled that can make a big impact, right? He can show up, have a great solid day, chance to punch his ticket into the playoffs, maybe win a race, whatever the case is. But all we need him to do is get a top 10 at plus 250. He finished 14th here last year. Struggled a little bit in 23 with the 22nd place finish, but he had that win where he led 47 laps in 2022. He can get it done here as he's proven before. Going back to pre-next gen, a 12th, the 17th, the 15th, the 16th. It's all been pretty solid finishes. I mean, of his 7 starts, 6 of them are 17th place or better. He's in contention for the top 10s each and every single time. So I'm going to jump on Suarez, top 10 at plus 250. I'm going to talk more about him in a little bit. I think he's being a bit disrespected this week, Rod. And then I'm going to jump over to Mr. Todd Gilliland, bringing back the GIlly Gang. I believe he got eliminated super early in that race last week in that Hocevar wreck, unfortunately. But top 10, back up to 8-1 this week. That's what we love to see. Last year in this race, Rod, you guessed it, 10th place finish for Todd Gilliland. So he just did it the most recent time that we were here. And he's been a solid enough road course guy, right? He's not always great. Sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss, but he's had some good runs. That's what we're looking for. It was 38th place finish last week, of course, after getting wrecked out. But he started 7th at Mexico City, so a good start. 22nd at the end of the day, so needs to get the results up, obviously. But top 10 at Coda earlier this year. Started in 10th place, finished in 10th place. So you got to like that. He had an 18th place run at the Roval last year, 16th at Watkins Glen. So some really strong runs for him over the last couple of years on these road courses. 8-1. I think Todd Gilliland worth a top.
He's done it once. I can top tens for me. I can always say that you can make a very decent case for, because all it takes is for 177 car to stack up the field and you've lost half of the fields. And so now you're dealing with guys that aren't necessarily used to being around the top 10 in the top 10. So I do like taking a stab at this. For Suarez, I mean, yeah, strategy played a lot of the reason why he won, but strategy can always play a reason in why you win, right? I mean, I know we always like to kind of brush off things that don't necessarily hurt or help our narrative, but at the same time, it's like, listen, these things happen, and strategy plays a part. And like I said, you can't control whether or not a gas can is going to fall out of a pit stall. You can't control whether or not a lug nut's going to get hung up or whatever. And it just, there's a lot of things that you can't control. But with a guy like Suarez, he's done this, so that he can get there again. And I think that's a good bet. So I like that one as well. All right. I like Ryan Blaney. I like him a lot. Always have, always will. And I think this is a good spot for a top 10 for him. Plus 150 over on Caesars for Ryan Blaney to get inside of the top 10. If we look at the speed cheat sheet heat chart, Ryan, why you got to make this so difficult for me to read?
Say that 5 times.
Speed sheet cheat heat chart. No, I can't even do it 3 times. Ryan Blaney in 2024, 4th in total speed ranking, 3rd in green flag speed, 2nd in late in a run, and then 2nd in the 4th segment finish. He finished 7th in that race last year. Ryan Blaney finished 7th. He finished 6th in 2022. A bad 2023 throws his entire average off into a 14.7. He did finish 31st that year, but something about Sonoma, Ryan Blaney loves himself some Sonoma, and I think that's going to continue this week. It's been such an up and down season for Ryan Blaney that you hate it, because he's on such a huge roller coaster. Like, he's doing so well, and then all of a sudden he's not. Like last week at Chicago, he finished 12th, but he probably should have had a better day. He did lead 3 laps in the entire race. And then, in Atlanta, he crashed out. Pocono, he finished 3rd. Mexico, he finished 14th. You look at Coda earlier in the year, he finished 19th. So not really a whole lot of signs of life for Ryan Blaney, in that you just can't really, I don't know. It's just frustrating for him altogether. But like I said, something about Sonoma, something about the California sun and the wine country. He's got 5 top 10 finishes in 8 races here, a 7th place last year, 31st the year before in 2023. But that's because I wasn't there for that one. So 6th place the year before, 10th place in 2021, 3rd in 2019, 9th in 2017. So he's been good here more than he hasn't. And there are just some courses that drivers like, and it reflects in the finishes. And I think this is one for Ryan Blaney that he's comfortable, right? It's a nice, expansive. There's a lot of room. Okay, there's not a lot of room, but there's still a lot of room. There's more room than there is in Chicago to play with on this track. So give me Ryan.
Oh, are you still there, Rod? I think I got lost for a second. But
okay,
I'm back.
You're good.
Hopefully.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm good. Let's go. Ryan Blaney. He's never that sexy on road courses, but he seems to get it done here. So it's hard for me to argue too much with that. Sticking in the Ford camp, I am going to go to the top Ford market. Again, Ford already tough enough to predict on a week-to-week basis. Then you throw in road courses. They just don't have a ton of road course guys. And a lot of them, Austin Cindric can pop up here and there, but he's really inconsistent. Blaney, sure, he's been okay here. But you know who has the best average finish here in the next gen Aero, Rod? It's Chris Buescher, 3.0 is his average finish. He's minus 105 for top finishing Ford. I don't mind that at all, because I think when you take him at minus 105, you're getting clearly the best guy, first of all, in road courses. I beat the stat in last week, 16 for 19, top 10 finishes on road courses. Obviously, it's now 16 for 20 because they have an issue early, but he qualified well, looked like he was going to be fine. They have the mechanical problem. They changed out an entire ECU, come all the way back, and he finished like 17th place. Like, not that bad, right? But you look at the rest of the Ford group, Blaney, okay, maybe he'll get in the top 10, but plus 275, you're not really interested in that. Logano's had some good races here, had some bad races. Cindric's inconsistent. Priest, Keselowski, like, it kind of just falls off to guys you're not really too worried about. And Buescher's been really good here. 2nd, 4th, and 3rd. That is his next-gen finishes at Sonoma. Led 32 laps last year. And when he finished 2nd in 22, I think he ran about every single one of those laps in 2nd place, right behind Daniel Suarez. So been great here. Just take the chalk on this one, minus 105. And then we're going to throw out a little insurance play on Todd Gilliland, who I just talked about, top 10 here last year. 25-1, you go all the way to Priest, Keselowski, 16-1. Then it kind of falls off the cliff with Gilliland, Gregson, Smith. Not having McDowell in Ford anymore, which last year was a lot more difficult to, which one is a Buescher, is a McDowell? Now without McDowell in Ford, he's over in the Chevy camp. I think that, it makes it a lot easier. So going to take Buescher. If he finishes 2nd, 4th, 3rd, he should be the top finishing Ford, because I just don't know that any of these other guys have that good of a finish in them. And he's great. He's so consistent at road courses. I know we just got burned a little bit on him last week. I get it, but he still came back and managed a great finish after sometimes mechanical stuff. You go back to earlier, I can't predict when the mechanical stuff's going to happen. It happened. Fine. It's out of the way. 2 weeks in a row, less likely to happen, right? I think he's going to be fine. Corey's saying risky, could be anyone from RFK or Blaney. I actually did look at Keselowski at 16-1. He's been decent here, but is he going to be the top finishing Ford? I don't know. Like, Priest, there's definitely a case to be made, but just like Buescher has been the guy. I'm going to eat the chalk on this. And I wanted the top 10, but it's like minus 160. So it's like, now we're pushing into, although as consistent as he's been and as good as he's been here, I might just end up taking it. You could look at the top 5 as well, but he might not have to finish top 5 to cash this top Ford bet. And if he finishes top 10, I think he's going to end up being the top Ford anyways. So give me Buescher at minus 105. And then just tossing out the insurance play on Gilliland at 25-1 in case crazy shit happens. Maybe it's a mechanical issue again. Gilliland, I think, can put himself in position to be that top.
Yeah,
Ford.
and really, we don't see a whole lot of craziness here, so we'll hopefully hope for some craziness that we've seen over the course of the season, because we don't see it here, but boy, we've seen a lot this season. JC wants to know, does Blaney really shop at Menards? That would be the question at hand. JC?
Oh, who doesn't? Do you have Menards out there, Rob?
But I will say to you this. I don't know that any of these drivers actually shop at any place that they're sponsored. They get so much free stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to guess. Yeah. Well, yeah, he probably gets tons of free stuff and probably has a guy for that, right? I don't think Ryan Blaney's going to. I was at Menards this weekend. It's my go-to place. We got tons of Menards across the Midwest here. Absolutely love Menards. I pick them every time when it comes to my home improvement shopping, because big supporters of racing. And
indeed, I'm pretty sure Chase Elliott doesn't have to shop at Napa either. I'm pretty sure Napa comes to him anytime he needs something, because he gets their cars into top 5 finishes on road courses a lot, and that's where we're going to put him again this week. Chase Elliott, top 5 plus 250 over on Bet365. Other places have him as low as like plus 170. I've seen a couple of other ones out there. So if you got Bet365, jump on it. I'd still take it at plus 170 because it's still a done deal. He's 2 for 2 in the last couple of years getting this done. He finished 4th last year, 5th in the year before that, just outside of the top 5 and 8th place in 2022. So in the next gen era, Chase Elliott getting it done with a 5.7 average finish. But beyond that, 4 of 8 finishes on this track have been top 5 finishes for him, including those 2 in the previous 2 years, and then a 2nd place finish in 2021, a 4th place finish in 2018. His only finishes, mind you, outside of the top 10, he's only got 2 finishes outside of the top 10 on this track. The first one was the very first year that he ran the 24 car on this track, and he finished in 21st. And then his second year in the 9 car, he started 4th, had an engine problem, and finished in 37th place, but he did lead 3 laps in that race. Chase Elliott has led laps in every race of the last 5 races that he's been on, including that one where his engine went out. But 3, 13, 26, 7, and 3, which means, guess what? He runs around the front of this track on a continual basis. If you look at some of the loop stats that he's got, his top 15 laps, his percentage has been 86, 93, 75, 95, 100% of the short race that he was in, 94 over the last few. So again, very high percentages of being inside of the top 15, and the finishes show. And Chase Elliott, one of those guys we talked about a couple of years ago, right? Him and Kyle Larson. It was whether or not which one of those two were going to win at this particular race. Now, remember that one year where both him and Chase or Larson decided
just fucked it up. Both of them.
The strategy that took them both out of the race. That either one of them could have ended up winning, and it probably would have been Larson Elliott 1-2 somewhere in that vicinity. But they made the wrong call on pit road and ended up biting him in the ass, and neither one of them finished with the win. So yeah, I mean, look, Chase Elliott. I talked about him earlier when we talked about Ty Gibbs. I think a top 5 finish for him is inevitable, and I think at plus 250, you're almost tripling your money at this one, and I got to take it.
Yeah, 7-time winner in the old car on road courses, was dominant for a stretch. I think he had 3 or 4 wins in a row. And then people, oh, he's been so bad on road courses. No, he hasn't, Rod. 10 of 19 road courses in the next gen era. He's finished in the top 5. He is the 3rd best average finish of all drivers in road course races in the next gen. Buescher, by the way, number 1 on that list. SVG now number 2, and Elliott's 3rd at 10.2. But yeah, I think I have no arguments there. I love Chase Elliott. I looked at this bet this week. I went with the Gibbs one instead, but I'm glad that you put it on there. Do you still have the bleep button, Rod, that we used back in the day for Daniel Hemrick? Because I would like to add a driver that I would no longer like to say his name on this show. So that would be the driver of the number 7 for Spire Motorsports. Yes, his name will no longer be said on this show because he fucking sucks, I think is the point I've got to so far. So save your money there, friend. I've tried it multiple times. I tried it again last week, and he's shit. So that is what it is. But Cousin Danny's saying, I bet Leg shops at Elf. I don't think she shops. I'm going to guess if anybody's getting stuff from their sponsors, she's probably getting plenty of stuff from ELF. But having an 11-year-old daughter, we spend plenty of money on ELF cosmetics. Don't worry about that.
No, it's definitely true. But
it's one of the popular ones with the kids.
Yes, indeed. All right, what else is popular with the kids, Cody?
All right, Rod. Well, I think Michael McDowell is popular. I wanted to find a way to play Michael McDowell this week, and somebody mentioned it back up in the comments a little bit ago. No one talks about it, but if Michael McDowell didn't have that problem, he might have a peep at SVG. I don't know. He led like 30 straight laps. SVG, I think, was toying with him a little bit. SVG would have ended up taking care of business, I think. But he had a great car, looked good, was running well, and he's been good at road courses. He's been really good here. So I'm going to take Michael McDowell to be the top finishing Chevy at plus 750. His outright number just wasn't quite attractive enough to me. You could get him at 10-1. But my thinking here is if he beats everybody and wins, you still get him at 750 here. This allows for a Gibbs, a Reddick, a Buescher to kind of steal this win and something else. He could be the top finishing Chevy still at plus 750. So that's the route that I'm going to take with Michael McDowell. We saw it last week, right? It was clearly on display how good he was at Chicago last week. And if you go back and you look at what has he done here at Sonoma, now granted they were all in Fords, but he finished 3rd place here in 2022, 7th place here in 2023, and 2nd place here last year. He's been extremely good on this course. He's been extremely good in the next gen era. Road courses, of course, he has that win at the Indy road course a couple of years ago. Many good runs. They seemingly have figured some stuff out over there. Throttle cable doesn't break. We might see him compete with SVG a little bit. Probably finishes top 5 at the end of the day, maybe even in that 2nd spot. So Michael McDowell, I think, trying to find a way to get on him. Was it the top 5? Was it the top 10 ended up being too juiced up? But I think top Chevy's the way to go. You get a decent enough number, so going to take it there. And then in the top Toyota market, RIP, they killed our friend Ty Gibbs, who catched that for us last week as well, Rod. Yet another reason to love Tyrone Gibbs and betting on him. But tougher to bet on this week because he is the favorite in that market. So we're just going to go to John Hunter Nemechek, 33-1. This is maybe there's some chaos play. Maybe there's some overtime play. Maybe it ends up looking like it did in Mexico, where he ends up with a second place or a sixth place finish rather. And I believe he was the top finish in Toyota in that race. So 15th last week at the street course. That's great. We'll take that. It was a good enough run. He's keeping himself in contention. He's keeping himself alive. That's what you're looking for. Sixth place finish at Mexico. So good runs on road courses. He had a sixth place at Pocono as well just a couple of weeks ago. A 10th place at Kansas. 8th place at Texas. Like, he's had some good runs, figuring some stuff out over there at Legacy. Let's say something happens that Denny Hamlin blows up on the first lap like he did in practice last week. Ty Gibbs ends up with a loose wheel, and Tyler Reddick does what Tyler Reddick things and doesn't work out. And Christopher Bell, suddenly it's kind of wide open, and Nemechek's been putting himself in enough position. So I think that I think that 33-1, that is a great spot. Don't say anything. He's plus 750 for that. Yeah, so he's 10-1 to win the race. Well, plus 750 just to be the top finishing Chevy. So I think it's worth a little bit there. And you take that and get in on it. So and McDowell said after the Chicago race in an interview that SVG is gettable. Like, that was his exact words. I think that might have been before the race, but either way, I do like McDowell. It's at the top Chevy. I think that's the way. I wanted to find a way to bet on him, and I think that's the way.
Yeah, again, it's just a matter of if one of these Fords, if one of these Toyotas end up winning and McDowell does what he did last week at Chicago, then you are sitting very pretty. And in fact, I had McDowell. I think I had him as a top 10 in my card, and it just, it was so tragic because he was there all race long, and you were excited about that. And it was, we're all riding the McDowell train. And then all of a sudden it does, you just heartbreak, and you're crying. And I was not very happy with that. So, all right, here we go. You guys got a week off of this, but now it's back. And that is my winning car number bets. And I am going to go with winning car number under 19.5 at plus 150.
But Rod, SVG drives the 80.
Cody, SVG could not win this race because guess what? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of gremlins. There's a lot of grapes that can get caught up in the fuel, carburetor, I don't know, whatever you got going on around there. But
what are some good car words?
And the manifold of the girder and whatever. But yes, 19.5 is where the line is set. And really, this is the Christopher Bell line. Obviously, if you're a Christopher Bell truther, you want to take the over, but it's pretty much juiced up. And of course, that SVG is over that one at 88. And then Daniel Suarez at 99, who also won this race. Yes, your beloved Ty Gibbs is also in this. But if you look at the plethora of drivers underneath, you've got guys like Chris Buescher, like we were just talking about there. You got Chase Briscoe, who, by the way, we have not brought him up once, and for good reason, obviously. Chase Briscoe dead to a lot of us after the last couple of weeks. But I will say, this 19 car, it's been either Martin Truex Jr. or Kyle Larson that has owned this track over the last few seasons. So that 19 car, no stranger to victory lane here. In fact, I watched Martin Truex Jr. win a few years ago. And so he can do it, right? The 19 car is obviously not piloted by Martin Truex Jr. anymore, but it's there. So Chase Briscoe, Chris Buescher, AJ Allmendinger, road course supreme man. Ryan Blaney, who I talked about, I think could have a good day, right? Maybe not a win, but what if he does win? That's an accidental thing. You're covered there. Denny Hamlin, who, by the way, obviously we know is not really that good at this road course over the last few years, but has been good at times. So he can sneak in. He was leading, I think, one of the races that I was at a few seasons ago, and then ended up losing that lead. But he's led on this track before. Ty Dillon, okay, but that's just your Cinderella story playing through. You got Chase Elliott, you got Kyle Busch, who has done well at this track. We haven't brought up his name, but he's another guy that's done well at this track. Then you get Keselowski, who you just talked about, can accidentally win whenever, but Larson, and then Ross Chastain, who we didn't talk about much in this one, but he's in Trackhouse Equipment, and he's been fairly decent, I guess, at road courses. So there are a lot of drivers. There's only maybe three 3 that I'm ultimately scared of on the other side of this that can walk away with this win. So you just bet those outright, and then you bet this one, and it covers you for a whole other side of those drivers. So I'm going to take winning car number under 19.5 for plus 150.
Yeah, and again, like they're the thing with SVG, and well, let's just get into it because I'm going to go to my outrights. SVG should win this race. He is the favorite. He should be the favorite. He is going to likely be the best car and best driver out there. We have just seen so many times what happens to the best car and the best driver, whether it's a loose wheel or whether it's a pit road penalty or whether it's an ill-timed caution. Go back to Mexico City. They almost made a bad call there. I don't remember if it was flipping the stage, something, but the caution fell right, kind of saved them late in that race. Could have been the mistake there. You go back to last week. If that caution comes out, we go to overtime. SVG won that race. He deserved to win that race. But if that race goes to overtime, there is a good chance somebody fucking wrecks him and he does not win that race. That's why it's hard to bet him and again, we talk about this on the Xfinity show this week. If his number is good enough, I am all in on betting him to win that again. You parlay the two like we did last week. I think that's going to be the move. But there are chances that he is not going to win this race. Also, if you look at COTA, where he didn't win, you look at some of the other road courses where he hasn't won, it's the ones we've been to year and year over. This is, been on the NASCAR circuit for what, 50 some years. I mean, other than 2020, they didn't come here because of COVID. But other than that, it's been around for a long time. A lot of these guys have been here a bunch. They know this place. So I think you have to prepare for the chance that somebody else could win this race. And Dylan Rod says that Tyler Reddick might be a sleeper. I 100% agree with you. 14-1 over on FanDuel. Did you see what happened last week? They were willing to roll the dice late, gets the fresh tires. It almost paid off. He was going to be probably not going to run him down, right? SVG might have been waiting, but if we get that caution, now he's got fresher tires. He is going to have something for him. 3rd at the Chicago Street Race, 3rd at COTA. You go back to last year, 2nd at the Chicago Street Race, and then just a bunch of top 10s. 8th place here, 5th at COTA, 6th at the Roval in 23, 8th at Watkins Glen, 4th at the Indy Road Course. He won at COTA. He's won at the Indy Road Course. He's won at Road America, 2nd place at the Charlotte Roval. He is a great by himself without any help. He absolutely can. Tyler Reddick has not won a race yet this year, Rod. He's due for one. This could be a good week. 2311's been bringing some good cars. Bubba was fastest in practice last week at Chicago. We know how good of a road course racer Tyler Reddick is. It's a bit ridiculous that we're at 14-1. We talk about this when Cup guys come down to the Xfinity Series. You get a guy that becomes such a heavy favorite. It pushes everybody else down the board. It makes their numbers better. So 14-1 for the guy who we were pretty much going to crown a year or two ago as the road course guy, right? And we saw his number super low. Number is way too big for what he is capable of doing. So give me Tyler Reddick at 14-1. And then it's the same exact story for Christopher Bell. How we forget, Rod. Marcus, I know will love this. 2nd place at Mexico City. He won COTA, 2nd at the Roval. That's 3 of the last 4 road course races we've had. And really, if you want to specify road course races, the last 3 road course races we've had, he's finished 1st or 2nd. And he is 22-1 on FanDuel. What in the that makes no sense at all. He should not be that high of a number. But he was 24th last week. Horrible day, Rod. Yeah, but remember they were going to flip the stage. Actually had great strategy, made a pit stop, but speeding, got sent to the back, wasn't able to fight back through it. To go back to last year, he had a 2nd place finish at COTA as well, a 3rd place at Watkins Glen back in 23. He, of course, won the Roval a couple of years ago. We don't want to talk about Cardboard Gate there, Rod. But 9th place here the last couple of seasons, so it's not been the greatest run. But at 22-1, putting himself in the picture at the end of the day and being a great road course racer, it's just too ridiculous, honestly. 14-1 for Reddick, 22-1 for Bell. No respect for these guys who are great road course racers. I get the SVG thing. Trust me, I get it. He should win this race. But if he doesn't, it's going to be wide open for guys like Reddick, for guys like Bell. They can put themselves in position. And honestly, I think that either of these guys could outduel SVG on this type of track, like we saw with Chris Buescher last year at Watkins Glen. And then my long shot, Rod, Daniel Suarez is 55-1 for a previous winner here who is in a situation where he needs to win for the playoffs, where he's looking for a ride. 55-1. Not always the greatest of road course racers, but we saw a couple weeks ago in Mexico City. He knows how to wheel in the Xfinity Series there. Got it done. He could put himself in position, and he showed a couple years ago that if he could get the track position, he can hold on to it and hold on for the win. Got it done. Shouldn't be 55-1 either. So, again, yes, SVG should win this, but here's the outrights I think you should bet on in the chance that he doesn't, because, and the other thing too, swept last weekend, first driver to sweep the weekend and sweep the polls, all this stuff. So do we think he's going to win both of those races, then show up this week, win the Xfinity race and the Cup race? The chances of winning 4 races in a row, just the actual odds of that happening without something going wrong. Can he do it? Absolutely. Especially on a road course. He's the guy, right? The chances of that actually happening, if it happens, my hat's off to him, right? But you got to have these insurance bets because there's plenty of cases to be made where he might not win this race.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough to win one, and you can talk to guys like Ty Gibbs, like Carson Hocevar about how tough it is to win one. Even Noah Gragson, right? I'll even bring one of my favorites, and then Noah Gragson. It's tough to win one, let alone 4 in a row. So, yeah, can he do it? Yeah, he's a road course guy, right? You expect him to do it, but it just happens that there's a lot, like I said, a lot of gremlins that can jump up at you. All right, my outright card begins with the guy that has won 2 of the last 4 races here. It is his home state. It is just a few miles away from Elk Grove, California, where he is from, and that is Kyle Larson. Should not be 7-1 on BetMGM to win this race. He just shouldn't. I get it. I know SVG, his presence makes this so difficult to bet anybody but him. But come on, man. 7-1 for Kyle Larson, who's won 2 of the last 4. That's approaching super speedway Kyle Larson odd type of a thing. Kyle Larson is the 2024 winner. He finished 8th in 2023. He's got an average finish here of 8th in the next gen era. A 15th place finish, not very good. But when you look at last year on the NASCAR speed cheat sheet, right? This time I said it right. For last year's race, he was first in total speed ranking, first in green flag speed, he was the first fastest late in a run, and 3rd and 4th segment, but he did win this race. I mean, again, it's just, to me, when you think about Kyle Larson in Sonoma, that's just makes sense, and he shouldn't be 7-1. This is a huge misprice. If anybody's going to give SVG a run for his money on this track, which, by the way, as we noted earlier, SVG has not run this in a Cup series. He's run in an Xfinity series, but he's never been here in a Cup car. Does that make a huge difference? I don't know. I mean, again, I would think that there's a little bit of a difference, obviously, between this, but for SVG, is it a huge enough difference? I don't know. That little turn, they actually they put a better barrier now in the hairpin, so you can't necessarily cut it too much. So that's going to be something, obviously, we pay attention to all day, because they used to be able to cut that and kind of bump the tire barriers out of the way to make a little more of a racing course, but you can't do that anymore. So Kyle Larson, I think, like I said, going to take full advantage of that. And at 7-1, you just can't pass that up. And then my long shot, people will not ignore Kyle Larson, John Ray. What's got me chuckling?
Oh, your long shot has me chuckling.
Oh.
It's going to cause more divisiveness in the Discord, which is definitely what we need, Rod.
That's what we
You
love.
didn't pick SVG,
but
but you picked
Kyle Busch. I did pick Kyle Busch at 25. Was it 27-1 on FanDuel for Kyle Busch? I'm just going to say this. Okay. There is a lot of craziness that surrounds Kyle Busch, and there's a lot of, last week, I think we saw a smile on his face, which is something we haven't seen in a very long time. And I feel like that may be the start of Kyle Busch actually realizing that he can compete again in the NASCAR. No one's barring him from doing it. He finished 5th in Chicago last week. He finished 5th at COTA earlier in the season. He finished 37th in Mexico City. He crashed out of that one. But that's a terrible day for Kyle Busch in that one. But 2 top 5s on road courses, or street or road courses, this season. Lest we not forget, he actually did win in 2015 on this track as well. So he is a winner on this, a couple of time winner at Sonoma. It's not as if Kyle Busch lacks the talent. Does he lack it right now? He'll probably be the first to tell you, yes, he absolutely does. But when you put in a nice, solid performance like you did at Chicago, despite all of the craziness that was happening around, right, and getting caught up in something and being able to turn around and get back to it, right, that shows that there's a little bit of fight left in that 8 team. Second place in 2023, fifth place in 2021, second in 2019. I mean, look, Kyle Busch is going to be Kyle Busch, but he's always talented enough to jump up and win a race. And he's done it here before, twice. And I think this may be the signaling of a Kyle Busch maybe resurgence. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably am, and that's fine. But at 27-1, it's totally worth speculation for a guy that just finished fifth place last week.
Yeah, I don't mind it for the number that it's at. Kyle Busch has been, if he could stop spinning out every fucking week. Remember when Corey LaJoie last year just spun out every week? That's Kyle Busch this year. Like, you just wait till he spins out and then bet him live after that if you want to, because it's going to happen. He's going to spin up, but he's been recovering. And you said 2 top 5 finishes in 2 of the 3 street road courses we've had this year, right? So, yeah, don't mind that at all. I know Rowdy was banging the drum in the Discord for his top 10 because it's plus money again. You gave that out last week despite not even being here. And I talked about it and it hit for you, right? So I think that he's worth looking at for sure. Is he going to win this week? I don't know, but he's so talented and it's still in there. He's not over the hill yet. It's going to come back. So I don't mind it at all. TK saying SVG did do the wheel test here last year in a cup car, so some experience. Races are different, of course. Yes. And I honestly, I don't think him not have been racing here in the cup car before overly hurts him, right? I think that does maybe help a Larson or a Reddick have some of an advantage because they do have the muscle. But, him running simulation and practice laps, he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to come out and struggle, Rod. I don't think you think that either. It's just where his numbers at. Again, it makes it hard when so many things can go wrong, especially in the Cup Series. I hope to be banging the drum for him in Xfinity tomorrow or Thursday, whenever we do that pod. But yeah, that's the thing with SVG.
Yeah, you got a lot of opportunities to dive bomb on this track, and if you see that 88 in front of you, you are probably not letting up anywhere close to where you would if that was anybody else in front of you. So, absolutely love it. All right. Get out your pen and paper. It is time to go over our bets for this Toyota Save Mart 350 from the beautiful Sonoma Raceway. I started you off with Chase Elliott over Ty Gibbs at -125. I tossed in AJ Allmendinger as a top 10 car at +120. I know somebody, TK, I think might have been saying, can we ease up on the Dinger road course ringer? And yeah, I get that, but I do still think a top 10 is in the cards for him. Ryan Blaney, top 10 at +150. Chase Elliott as a top 5 car at +250. I said the winning car number would be under 19.5 at +150. Gave you Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, 2 Kyles today. Kyle Larson at 7-1. Kyle Busch at 27-1 to win this race. Cody gave you Christopher Bell over William Byron at -110. He added Larson over SVG at 2-1. Gibbs top 5 at +220. Suarez top 10 at +250. Todd Gilliland top 10 at 8-1. Buscher top Ford at -105. Gilliland top Ford at 25-1. Michael McDowell is the top Chevy at +750. John Hunter Nemechek as the top Toyota at 33-1. Gave you Tyler Reddick at 14-1, Bell at 22-1, and Suarez at 55-1 to win this gorgeous race from beautiful wine country. I will obviously post pictures in the Discord and on my Twitter, but boy, when you overlook the valley from this track, it is so breathtaking, and I absolutely love it. What I don't love is leaving because of the traffic jam, but I do love being every second of being there.
Yeah, it always looks beautiful. So yeah, make sure you follow Rod over on the X at RJ Villagomez. Follow the show at NASCAR Gambling. Follow us on YouTube. He's gonna have stuff out all weekend with that. So yeah, it's gonna be. I hope you have a great time. It always looks like a great place to be. Looks like a lot of fun. So should be fun. Lynn says he's all in on Gibbs this weekend. Honorable mention to Gibbs. He didn't make the outright, but I'll be cheering for that. I'll be celebrating harder than if I did bet on him anyways. So yeah, and Corey was also saying thanks for the bet suggestions. Made me pick little on Elliott, little on Buscher top 10, and a bigger amount on Priest top 10. So there you go. Also wishing you to have a good time. And yeah, JDK thanking TK for that tire test info. That's why we love the chat. They bring all the extra stuff to make sure we cover it all.
Me too. I love the chat. I love all you guys. I missed every single. I know I don't see your faces except for Cody's, which I missed his face, but I saw it on the screen.
For you, but
but no, I definitely am so happy to be back with a full week of this. We'll be back tomorrow with Xfinity, and then of course on Thursday for our DFS and Underdog episode. So yeah, guys, this has been fun. Thank you so much for hanging with us for a little while, and yeah, I'll be sure to check in from Sonoma with a few of my favorites going on from the racetrack. And yeah, set up for this Cup episode, Cody. I forgot how to get out of the show. Do you remember how to take us out of the show?
Yeah, I forgot last week too, and I was scrambling at that. I'm like, oh shit, I've had everything prepped, like the intro. I wrote down, this is what Rod usually says. Make sure I say these things. And then we got to the end of the show, and I'm like, oh fuck, how do I get out of this? But anyways, Rod, follow me on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. NFL content's ramping up. My pinned post right now, I got 3 best bets for all 32 teams. They're all each their own individual article. You click on the pin post, you can go find your favorite team or look through all of them if you want to. Let me know what you think about how I feel about your team. Some of the teams I didn't have good things to say. They were bad bets, or well, not they were good bets, but bets that wouldn't be good if you're a fan of the team. But anyways, check those out. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you check out Seth and Elliott on the back road. I'm taking a back seat because I'm going to come back the week after with all of my fun Sonoma stories for the guys. So they're going to be holding it down for Sonoma to break it down. But yes, follow me there. And of course, follow me for all of the great stuff that I'll be posting throughout the course of the weekend. You guys know you love this race. We love this race. They want me to let you know that I love this race because that's part of the deal. But anyways, yeah, follow me there. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow with some Xfinity picks for the Sonoma race. And until then, everybody, let's go racing and let it ride.